I'm based in Russia, so I basically help British companies to export to Russia specifically. And I'm the sector lead for giftware, tableware and jewelry sector, which means that any British company from this sector willing to export to Russia will come to me, and we will discuss how we can proceed. So in my presentation today, I'll speak about three things. I'll try to give an overview of the Russian market and try to make it a realistic overview, because what I find that when I speak to companies, I find that some of them have over-optimistic view of Russia and some over-pessimistic view. So I'll try to sort of give a little bit more realistic picture. And then if the Russian market seems attractive to you, then we can talk about some practical issues about how you can enter it. And finally, I'll speak about how UK trade and investment can help you to do this. So Russia is one of the high growth markets. UK trade and investment actually identified markets across the globe which show high growth, so that they can focus their resources on them, and Russia is one of those markets. Russia was the UK's fastest growing major export market in 2012. Russia became the largest market for UK goods outside of the European Union, the US and China in 2012. And UK companies are among the largest foreign investors in Russia. Last year, the 2013, was a year when the Russian economy slowed down. But you can see that from 2010, there was a growth at 3–4%. And in 2013, the growth was 1.3% only. So the growth rate is much lower than it used to be, but it's still in the positive. And still Russia remains the world's 8th largest economy, is still likely to grow faster than UK traditional trading partners. Russia will soon become the largest consumer market in Europe. As far as I know, it is number 4 at the moment. And at the same time, UK exports still lag behind those of other major European partners of Russia, so there is scope for growth. These were some general facts about the Russian economy, and here is a little bit about giftware sector. So despite the economy slowed down, the annual growth of giftware sector is still estimated at 10–15%. That's also a slowdown from 30–40% that it used to be during the years before. The size of the market is estimated at $10–12 billion. There is a continuing growing retail expansion, so more and more companies spring up, more shopping malls, more retail shops open, and it continues. There is a strong gift-giving tradition in Russia, meaning that there are at least 4 occasions, like New Year, birthday, there's a celebration of Women's Day and the Day of Defender of the Country, which is a Men's Day, when people give presents to their friends, to their family members. And also that's a very strong tradition to give presents on the same occasions to your colleagues and to your business partners. So it's not only friends and families. Also, Russian people don't care too much about practical value of goods, and they're quite happy to give presents of trivial nature, but that would be appealing to your heart, so to say. Somebody counted that each Muscovite gets about 10 presents a year. No, I found this figure in the internet. And the average value of the individual gift is around £50. Also, there is a growing corporate sector, meaning that there is a very strong tradition that main company, big corporates, they arrange for gifts for their own employees in the companies. And sometimes if this is about the gifts for the top managers, that's really a very big sector for luxury goods, luxury presents. Another feature of the giftware market in Russia is that it's dominated by imports, which take up to 95% of the market share. So really very little is made in Russia in this sector. The major suppliers of mass market products are China and India, while upper market is dominated by European goods, including the UK. So generally UK goods or UK goods made in UK are perceived as high quality, reliable, and have very good reputation. So British importers so far have been very successful, specifically in the middle and upper end of the market. So the main idea from this slide is that if your products are from the lower end of the market, then probably Russia is not quite right place for you. Because of the high competition from cheap products made in China and India. This slide is really about the population in Russia. I always find across such an idea that Russia is very rich, and all Russians are very rich and they can buy anything they want. But actually, if you look at the last point, only 5% of the population can afford luxury. And the majority of the population really are not even in the middle class, but in the lower end of the market. And very often there is even something like a gap between luxury goods and proper middle market products, something where the upper middle class is non-existent, and products which fall under this category sometimes find it quite difficult to get into the market because there's no consumer demand as such. The market is very price sensitive, meaning that across all the spectrum, even in the top end, people do pay attention to the cost. They do compare that. Similar products available in Europe, how much they cost here, how much do they cost in Russia, and they do pay attention to this difference, and they, even in the luxury end, are not willing to pay without looking into the price, so to say. In the upper market, the brands that makes the tough competition for newcomers. Even if the product is high quality, excellent design, if the brand is not established in Russia, it's hard to get into the market. So the companies need to be prepared for some marketing, some promotion activities, and some investment into this. Otherwise, it's hard to get to the consumers, basically. Nevertheless, there are quite a few companies, British companies in Russia. This is really just a very, very few out of the whole number of companies. These are companies which are from the giftware, tableware, and jewelry sector, and a number of those companies actually got into the Russian market with UKTI help. Either they ordered the standard service from our office and found, for example, one of the company, Ainsley, they were a client of mine some years ago, and we identified a list of distributors for them, and now they have several trade partners in Russia. Another company, Wax Lyrical, they supply candles and aroma gifts. They started to trade in Russia because we, UKTI, brought a group of Russian buyers to Spring Fair 2 or 3 years ago. And we arranged the meetings for them, and so that's how they started. So here are companies from cosmetic sector, tableware, souvenirs, kitchenware, etc. Tableware companies find it, in the tableware sector, there are so many brands already present in Russia. Nevertheless, there is scope for more companies, and any new company can find their niche. So if you decided you want to enter the Russian market, the second part of my presentation is about some practical aspects. the products imported into Russia, they need to be certified according to the Russian standards. So European certification is not sufficient, and you do need to have Russia-specific certification. And for fine jewelry, you need to have Russian hallmarking. Even if you have hallmarks made in the UK, you would still need to have a Russian assay office to give a Russian hallmark. And the same about certificates. There is a list of products. It's constantly changing as to what products are subject to mandatory certification in Russia. Then, obviously, there are some customs formalities which are considered to be very complicated in Russia. They're changing, so you have to follow the rules every time. And also, there is there are duties to be paid. Here, I apologize, I made a mistake. It's not 15%, it's 18% VAT. It's a standard rate of VAT, and 15-20% import duty. Actually, in this red circle, there is a website which I find very useful. This is aimed at European exporters who wish to enter any other market outside of Europe. It has information about import duties for various products, for various markets, and import formalities, what documents are required to enter the market. Here also is the retail price structure. I wouldn't be speaking in detail about that, but that's only approximate. That's a retail price structure was given specifically about bone chinaware. But on average, if you want to estimate how much your product will cost on the shelves in Russia, you multiply your trade price by 3. So sometimes, yes, the Russian companies, distributors, they would ask you for bigger discounts or maybe better prices. We recommend you to be more or less flexible in this, because you can imagine how much your product will cost in Russia and how this would fit the market, and maybe it makes sense to go a little bit further with the discount. And the natural question which we always get is whether we should have a distributor or we can go direct. But taking into account the previous slide, the complication of the customs clearance and the need for Russian certification, we always say, yes, you do need to have somebody in the country who would be handling that, who would arrange the certification process, who would do the customs clearance, and you need to have somebody in the country. So it is a key to your success is to have a reliable partner in the market. And although Russia is huge and there are hundreds and thousands of companies trading, in fact, the number of companies working directly with international suppliers is very limited. Only a few companies actually go into the trouble of customs clearance and import procedures. And the majority of those companies are based in Moscow. So the distribution is very much centralized. So major importers are based in Moscow. They carry the goods from abroad and then they distribute across Russia. Nevertheless, there are some retailers, independent retailers, particularly working in the high-end market, and they do work directly with international suppliers. So we recommend you, if you are looking for a distributor, we recommend to keep other options open and also consider working directly with some of the top-end retailers, because otherwise they will not be getting your product, because they do like to work direct. And if it's not a distributor, then it can be a representative office. That's another option when you have a presence in the country. If you're happy to register your own office to register an office in Russia, that's something you can do, but obviously this is a more expensive option. So UKTI is there to help you with anything, basically, what you want. We can either give you information about the market, about the sector, about import procedure for a specific kind of goods that you have. We can do the analysis of market entry strategies, etc. And any question, basically what you have. We can search for partners. This is the most typical job that we do. So as I mentioned earlier, that we identify the companies working in this sector. Who are the major players? Who are the major importers or distributors working with this type of product? So we provide these lists of contacts for you. We speak to these companies on your behalf. We try to get initial feedback about their interest to work with you and to talk to you, to discuss this. And we provide this information for you so you can proceed from there. We organize meet the buyer events like the ones which is taking place during this exhibition, so that we identify again potential companies which might be interested in sourcing goods from the UK, and we invite them to major exhibitions. And here you can meet them, and as I said earlier, there were some successful cases when companies met some distributor from Russia coming to Spring Fair upon invitation of UK Trade and Investment. We also publish the so-called business opportunities at UKTI website. Here is the website. If you are registered at this website, you can actually get email alerts straight to your inbox about somebody in Russia looking to buy Christmas gifts, for example. A company wishing to expand their range of giftware, or a company looking for specifically children goods to start a new line of business. And when we come across such cases, we enter this information onto the website, and if you are signed up for this, then you get straight away the information to your inbox. And finally, we help with your market visitors. You have done the initial research, you want to visit an exhibition, you want to meet potential partners, you want to go to the market. Again, we can provide any help from general advice about transport, interpreters, accommodation, getting the Russian visa, up to setting up appointments with potential partners. There are overseas missions that UKTI runs, which means that you might feel more comfortable really visiting the market, especially for the first time, in a group of other British companies rather than on your own. Again, the information about such missions is published on the UKTI website, and you can get information about upcoming trade missions to various markets. Sometimes companies find it beneficial to join such trade missions because they can share experience and knowledge with other companies. Some of them already trade in Russia, so they already have some experience, and you can talk to each other and really find it useful to get some knowledge about the market. Or you may choose to exhibit or visit trade shows in Russia, and UKTI can provide support. There is trade show access support program when companies, eligible companies, can get financial support for their exhibitions for exhibiting abroad. These are the three main gift trade shows in Russia, if you wish to note them down. This Consumer Expo is a major consumer goods exhibition, which includes gifts, tableware, and so on. And the two exhibitions more specifically about gifts and interior accessories, Gifts Expo and Household Expo. So in Russia we have 3 posts, Moscow, St. Petersburg and Yekaterinburg, and we act as one network, and we can help with any question. There is a specialist focusing on different sectors.